Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do La Muerta Primeval by Coughing by Comics by or from doesn't matter. From Coughing Comics by Coughing from Coughing Comics doesn't matter. I fucked it up already. Anyway, so what is Coughing Comics? Yeah, many of you know Lady Death. You probably heard that name maybe somewhere. Lady Death is a very popular character from back in the 90s. Brian Polito, I believe he has created that character, or is well, he's now in the big boss of. Coughing Comics, along with his wife and other talent as well. And he has, created La Muerta. It's part of his lineup, if you can say that. But she's, I think, the least popular because, well, it's not really because, but Lady Death is the flagship character. She brings in the money. I mean, and as we speak, I just Google it for the funsies. There is a new Kickstarter campaign of La Muerta. This is volume 9, this is volume 8, I guess, although it says number 1, and I'm coming back to that a little bit later. And it has already raised almost $160,000. That's crazy. I mean, that's pretty impressive because, well, Brian Polito is very good at marketing. You know, he can sell comics. It has he has done that for years. So, and he has a very loyal fan base. I'm a big fan of certain characters too. But La Muerta is a little bit new to me. I got 2, maybe 3 comics from her. And, I want to dip my toes in this character, see if it's good. I mean, she is, I believe, from Mexican descent, or, that's the root of this whole comic, or Mexican or Spanish. I'm not entirely sure. Only what I know is that she's called Maria Diaz. She is a combat veteran, and she doesn't have any powers, but she is dipping her toes into the supernatural. Supernatural finds her, and vice versa. She also stopping crime and drug dealers and etc. stuff like that. So speaking of the whole number 1 thing, like I said this is volume 8 or book 8. But every new comic that comes out, doesn't matter if it's Lady Death or La Muerta, it always starts with the number 1, which is really confusing to me because the new La Muerta that is out, Devious, is called also is in issue number 1. There's never an issue 2 or an issue 3. It's just always issue 1, but then it's book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just makes no sense at all. It's very confusing. Anyway, enough talk. So let's dive in. We start here in Afghanistan. Maria's here. I believe her team has been dead. There's only one survivor with her, and his name is Tim. Tim is very hurt, and she is holed on this little house here. And the Taliban has found her, and they want to kill her. Well, you can see here what the little bit of a backstory here is. Here, you can pause the video if you want. But then she also seeing the atrocities of what the Taliban is doing to the neighborhood, saying it lightly, and they're shooting at her, and she doesn't want to go out. She wants to take the Taliban with her, so she's preparing. But then Taliban's getting shot into oblivion, or to Allah maybe, and because Lieutenant Conrad is here, and he saved the day. And then skipping forward to Peru. Maria has come here, and she is coming into this bar, and maybe she's coming from a mission, I'm not entirely sure, but her buddies are here, her, war buddies, and they're all, greeting her, and there's a nice reunion. And then we have this Tim guy that was hurt. He's now become a priest, man of God, and so they talk about their General Lieutenant Conrad. So the story goes that he was going into the rainforest, and he was part of some Amazon aid group, and he helped poor people distributing medicine. Jesus Christ. And but then somehow he disappeared. He just showed up later, months later, and people say there was rumors about a crazy American running around the rainforest fucking with drug runners. The local gangs were kidnapping kids and using them as mules. Guess the lieutenant didn't like that. And then Tim says here that the lieutenant called him from this bar, sounding crazy, sounding he found something in a rainforest, and then he went back hiking into the jungle, and then, well, that's the last thing we heard about Lieutenant Conrad. So Maria goes back to the hotel. Tim, accompanies her. That's the word, I believe. And then they talk about, his decision to become a man of God, become a priest, etc. And then also talk about the lieutenant. But Maria says, Tim, the lieutenant's probably dead, right? I believe that. Why are you here? If you believe that, why are you here? I owe the man. I pay my debts, especially to the dead. Are you talking about revenge? But then they're getting attacked. But Maria's prepared and, kicks their asses very easily. I mean, she's a combat veteran after all. Even Tim, and then there's only one guy left. And she says, why are you following us, pendejo? 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 My Mexican Spanish is not that good. Like, at all. And so the goon says, here you mentioned Americano Conrad. He caused me, Jeff, a lot of problems. And you thought you will lead you right to him. Is that right? Tell you boss to fuck off. You making a mistake, puta. Don't care what people say. You Conrad's just a man. He bleed like anyone else. So will you. Unless you want to die with the gringo, I get your ass out of Peru tonight. She kicks him in the face and thanks him for his advice. Right off the bat, I must say the colors are nice. I'm not a big fan of the art, and I just noticed it that the artist is in, I believe, a lot of La Muerta books, maybe all of them. I'm not entirely sure because I don't have all of them. I just have 3. And it's like I don't mind wonky art or scratchy art, as I like to call them. And what I mean with that, I'm going to explain that a little bit later. There's some parts here that I really like. There's a lot of detail in here. I like that, some wide shots, but it's not always clean art. That's what I'm trying to say with it. So she's here on the balcony, and she's got a visit from Santa Muerta. I believe Santa Muerta is one of the supernatural deaf beings, I believe. She is Father Deaf, Lady Deaf. I'm not entirely sure, but, or deaf in persona. And I'm not even sure if that's a fictional character or that is maybe a part of the Mexican heritage culture. I'm very curious about that, by the way. That would be cool if they implement something like that in here. So this apparition comes and it says, you shouldn't be here, Maria. Let me guess, you need me back home, right? You got some vengeance to dish out and it just can't wait. Do not mock me, girl. There are ancient forces work in the jungle. Dark powers you cannot possibly understand. But then she says, you know what I can understand? What happened to my mojo? A month ago, I called upon my ancestors' magic to defeat a horde of monsters. Now I can create even a spark in La Muerta Onslaught. I have that as well. So, and then the apparition says that the answers will come in time if you live long enough. I have spoken. If you enter the jungle, you enter alone. I cannot help you. So then we go back, to this facility here, some kind of a laboratorium. And there's a lot of vegetation, fungus, people with needles in their faces, I'm not entirely sure, and some kind of a mysterious experiment that's been infected by the jungle, I guess, or been awakened. It's all a little bit vague. Meanwhile, the whole team is gathering together to find the lieutenant, right? And like I said, I like the colors. It's very nice. It's vibrant. I sometimes have a lot of complaints when it comes to art. Coloring, especially digital coloring, because mostly it's just a bucket of paint throwing onto the pages and call it a day. Sometimes you need to rein in the colors a little bit more, like muted colors, perhaps, or not have, 50 colors in one page. Just tone it down. You don't have to over exaggerate with the colors, but this looks nice, in my opinion, of course. So they have some weapons here, and there's also this woman that she is driving the boat. Is that how you say it? Well, no, piloting the boat. I'm not entirely sure, but she doesn't ask questions. She just know the surroundings, and she takes them for money, right? Um, Surroundings looks cool, but then the boat stops because there's some kind of a fog coming, and that fog is not supposed to be here, not on this time of day. She says, "No es buena." It feels wrong. Go to the bow, por favor. Water, watch the water so we don't run aground. What's going on? Oh, that isn't right. He says, "What are you talking about?" So I'll also put this mist here. Really cool. Um, Maybe I'm coming back to what I'm trying to say a little bit later. Um, all right, so stuff here, and then we see, I don't know, memorabilia from dead people, I guess. Except they're giving up their possessions, leaving behind what they hold most dear. Um, who exactly are they? So it seems that there's something in the forest, and they need to leave stuff behind if they are entering the forest. That's my guess from what I've read. But then they are being ambushed, and this guy that she kicked in the face earlier on the pier, well, he's back, and she says, "This is for my nose, puta," and he shoots it with an Uzi or whatever it is. Not a big fan of the sound effect lettering. It's a little bit meh. It's a little bit too samey. It's not really that special or something. I mean, that stands out a little bit for me, but besides that, it's okay. And anyway, so they're defending themselves, and this is happening. So they are shooting back. So there's a lot of black in here as well. I mean, we have some, detailing here, but then we go here and it's just pure black. Also, nice explosions, looks cool. Like I said, color effect, pretty cool. Lettering, not so much. And then Tim says one of them is still breathing. So I want to say La Muerta, but it's still Maria. Maria is going after him because he wants to question him. Tim goes after her and he says, "You crazy running in alone? Calling me crazy? You aren't even armed." Never mind, just watch my six. But then this goon is being attacked by, oh no, a big snake. And he's and Maria says, "Tim, don't touch him. That snake was infected with something. Doesn't matter. I have obligations. Damn it, you can't save everyone." Then I performed the last rites. And then he says, I saw him. I saw El Tunche. Is that how you say it? So yeah, speaking of too many colors, a lot of around here. The man died, leaving more questions than answers. True to her word, Santa Muerta was staying out of it. I get no wisdom from her. "You're Mexican saint," says the woman who drives the boat. Her legends made it all the way down here. The poor lover, especially the children. How do they feel about El Tunche? You ever hear that name? Every on the river knows of El Tunche. Some say he's the ghost of a murderer condemned to wander the jungle to pay for his crimes, snatching souls of those who would not do the forest harm. So maybe your lieutenant has, and then there's a sound like ah. And it seems that one of her team members are being, I don't know, hanged, and the other one tried to take him down, and she says, "Don't pull him. They're using molly wire," and then, well, he's now headless, and blood is everywhere, and they're shooting into the trees, and it seems that these are the kids, that leave their possessions behind, and, well, they are killers now, or they are possessed, or, in thrall of that, whatever infection is. The darkness allow only a glimpse, then the jungle swallows them whole. God only knows where they went, and he ain't talking. Muy buenos niños. I probably butchered that, but I try. So it's none other than, oh no, it's Lieutenant, what's his name? I forgot, Conrad. And he has a friend, this woman. And he says, Rook, old friend, you stayed at home. I could have told you, no one escapes the jungle and no one escapes Temora. Probably that's her name. Meanwhile, people are, feeling devastated about the death of their friend, and they couldn't sleep. And there's also no time to mourn. So they asked, did they have a family? Did he have a family? A sister and some nephews back in Nevada. We can't send him home like this. Better to say a prayer and let the river take him. No, Maria says. We should cremate him and send him the ashes. A family needs something for closure, otherwise his death will never be real for them. So there is some highlights when it comes to writing. I mean, especially this, I like that, this especially with the family, this thought, people think about that instead of, just dumping into the river. I mean, that's probably what I would have done, become I'm a heartless bastard sometimes. But on the other hand, the story and the writing is pretty simplistic in other parts. Coming back to that a little bit later as well. So Tim doesn't feel very well, and it seems that he is now infected too because he is, performing the last rites on the drug runner. So because he touched him and he sees then an illusion or a vision. So he looks at Maria and sees this monstrous visage of, whatever he is seeing. The stuff has infected more than his flesh. It worms its way into his brains, his thoughts. I pray it isn't too late. And he screams. And he said, no, stay away. And then someone, this guy's infected too. He says, hey, Miller, wait, man. Look at your hand. You touched El Padre. Now the jungle has a hold on you too. Easy, Tim, I won't hurt you. Take another step and I'll kill you. So, yeah, he's going nuts. But then she tries, this boat girl ties something. Will this work? No sé? Is that how you say it? But it cannot hurt. Hell, it cannot hurt me. So she is using, the cigar on fire to kill the infection. So fire, hint, hint, or something like that is the key. And so Maria, knocks this Tim out because he's going crazy. And she says, what happened out here? The fungus, it tried to eat the man's arm. Don't be dramatic, woman. I'm fine. Kind of a touch of the kid's infection is all. What do you mean is all? People die from that infection. Don't take it so lighthearted. So she says he needs to tie Tim up. The fever making him crazy. He won't see another sunrise unless we get him to a doctor. So they abandon the search and then they go to the nearest town. But then they need to go through enemy territory, right? Because that's always the case. And again, I like this shot. And it's none other than, it's General, Lieutenant, Captain, it's Lieutenant Conrad. So he takes his mask and all these people are dead here. And Maria says, maybe he's possessed, brainwashed, bewitched. It doesn't matter. The Lieutenant Conrad, we know, it's gone. How do you say this? Mátalos a todos? Probably not. Anyway, so the kids are now attacking the boat. Like I said, it looks cool. The main problem that I have with the art, it's too... I don't have the right word for it, but it feels like... I mentioned before the scratchy kind of drawing. It feels sometimes rushed and unfinished. The basics are there, there's some nice vistas, the colors masks a lot of problems when it comes to the art. And the scenery is nice, but sometimes the art, especially facials, even body parts, feels unfinished and it doesn't look clean. I like clean art. Anyway, moving on. So the crew on board that's still alive is, doesn't want to shoot the kids, but the kids don't care, and the kids kill them anyway. So, and then I don't know, Conrad comes up. Maria defends his house and shoots him. What's his name? 16? Probably, maybe not. And he's getting, shot into pieces, but it doesn't really do anything. And he's smiling. So boat girl and Maria decide to jump ship and get themselves to safety while he is bleeding a lot and into this water, which again looks cool. Well, he is not bleeding here, but he is bleeding there. So yeah, a little bit of inconsistency here, But if you look at the art, man, like I said, there's a lot of, I don't know, man. There's another example that I'm going to show you a little bit later. So, okay, we're all 20 minutes in. Okay, I just skipped here. But, out of the woods come the big, gruesome baddie. Who is she? Don't know. Where does she come from? Don't know. What are her powers? I don't know. What does she want? I don't know. That's the problem. Again, so Maria shoots at her, and it's just, this looks cool. Just crushing the face of this girl. I started to like the boat girl. Anyway, Maria doesn't realize that she can do nothing, but then, oh no, the sun is coming through the forest, and she's, getting burned, and Maria's now fleeing. What is with that hand? I'm not sure. Why a laboratorium experiment is now, susceptible to sun, because fire, because light. Nothing is explained really. So she goes on the boat, and she is, turning herself now into La Muerta. Now, La Muerta is not like Batman. You're donning a cape and you come from Bruce Wayne, who is, playboy millionaire, to the Batman, right? No, basically Maria is La Muerta. They are one and the same. She just put some face paint on, and she's coming here, which is a little bit of a shame. La Muerta is the name of the game, but now very at the end, she is just donning her persona, although, like I said, it's the same. So she comes out of the woods, and Tim is here, and they are, doing little kids dancing around this guy's pole or whatever. Okay, that came out wrong, but you know what I mean. So daylight heard it, but the sun is sinking. There's still a chance to save it. I need to make my move before night falls. Oye, niños, why have you forsaken me? So she's basically pretending that she is now La Muerto something, the apparition goddess of death of Mexico. Santa Muerta, sorry. If you had not lost your faith, Santa Muerta could not have protected you. Instead, you bowed the false prophets, of two false prophets. And so she prays that they are listening, and she's jumping in. They are heathens, devils in disguise. Flee from them now, I'll face my righteous wrath. And then, they flee indeed, but, basically they're also murderers. And then Tim is still under the influence, and he says, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And she says, sorry, Tim, it's the only way, and she's burning him. But then out of nowhere, Conrad comes, but, La Muerta is prepared again because he's hearing him or something. And I don't know what happened to you, Lieutenant, but I can't let you do this anymore. And then, he fights back. He said, you, Lieutenant, is meat. I am El Tunche now, and forever. You will see the truth of Temora as I have. She is the wind and the water and the blood of the soil. Fight if you want, but you will serve her all the same. And he says, no, she won't. And then Tim comes and chops off part of the head of the lieutenant, who is now dead. And then he says, have God mercy on his soul. May God forgive me. Anyway, okay, so Tim is now letting his guard down. Look at this weird pose. So this creature comes in, rips his spine open, or his back, and Tim is falling. And La Muerta knows that she can't go anywhere because the sun is now going under, and it doesn't go through the leaves anymore. So, but then this is happening. I forgot to tell you, there's also a drone they take with them. And the drone is here on top of the forest, and there's some explosions, and then they blew up a part of the forest, and then now the sun comes in, and now she is, toast. And she's, fleeing back to her hole, as La Muerta says it. All right. And then she throws, more explosion stuff to the compound where this creature is fleeing, and burying her with the rubble. And now it's a tomb. And Tim says, I'm dying, or something like that. He says, don't want to change like Lieutenant Conrad. I don't want to hurt anyone. You can let that happen, Maria, promise me. So, and then, this is happening. And she says afterwards, I choke through a prayer. So she lost now her whole team, and then she is, I don't know, going away back to the mainland, I guess. And then she says, with Tamari buried, maybe the jungle hold on the children will vanish. Maybe this nightmare will finally fade with the light. And that's the end. Yeah, it's not really an ending. And like I said, with the scratchy art, this is what I mean. There's too much scribbling and doodling. I mean, look at this guy's t-shirt, man. It's just a t-shirt, just Jesus Christ, and this guy as well. It's too much going on. Just tone it down with this, it looks very rough. It's not bad looking, but it looks very rough. And that's probably one of my complaints. The other complaint is that the story is not really satisfying. We don't know who this creature is. Maybe she comes back. Maybe not. I don't know. There are some parts that I like. I explained that before, but the story is just meh. Why is Lieutenant Conrad being infected? How does that work? What does this woman want from him? What does she want in general? It doesn't be. There is no explanation. It's just, hey, there's a bad guy, and the bad guy needs to be defeated. And that's okay too. But we need to have some kind of an explanation. We want to. How can we root for the good guy or the bad guy if there is no background on that specific person or creature? It's just there killing people for what reason? Don't know. So overall, it's not really a thumbs up. There's some parts I like. Mostly, let's leave it here and say this is not really a good comic when it comes to writing and other stuff as well. I'm rambling again. I'm stopping, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.